let's talk about your dashboard. So rather than say there's a whole bunch of good scripts out there, you can go find them and cut and paste and then fiddle with them, or hire a coder to fiddle with them. I thought it'd be easier to give you the output and the outcome of all of that without you having to worry about scripts, which is, I think, a way that hopefully serves as a good taster of scripts and the power of scripts. And like I said, I've got a whole bunch more stuff to come. So there's a fair bit in this first one. A lot of ideas and a lot of code has gone into this, but we're going to keep adding to that over the next few weeks. You probably won't see many changes for the next few weeks, but certainly once we get back after Christmas, there's going to be a bunch more stuff rolling out. A reminder, if you haven't yet, and if you're part of the dashboard or the VIP group, please send the CID of an individual account. So when our MCC level stuff is not yet ready for prime time, I think I mentioned in the first webinar a couple of weeks ago that we use an MCC level dashboard as an agency. I'm assuming that you're either running your own account in-house or you're looking after a particular account. If you are an agency, please just pick one account for now. It won't work at the MCC level yet, but we are working on that and we hope to roll that out in the new year. You need obviously account level access in order to accept the link from us. So please, I think we're still waiting on at least a dozen or so people that we've invited, we've sent the link to. I need you to follow these steps. If you've already sent your ID number in, and you haven't been through this process, which I know many of you have, then just check this inside your account. You go up to the cog in the top right and you choose account settings. On the account settings page, which will default to the preferences subnav, you then choose account access at the top of the list there and have a look down at the bottom under the client managers section and then hit the, I think it's accept request or grant request or some button that will be under the actions column, which gives us access, which links your account to our MCC, which enables us to run the script on your account. If you do have an MCC, pick one of the accounts inside your MCC and send us the CID of that individual account, please, not the MCC level access. Thanks. And I did show this the other day, but I just want to talk through a couple of the tabs here so that you know what to do with this when you get it. I've also created this, which is the second tab. So you can see across the bottom of the screen there's a whole bunch of tabs, and the how to use this is the second tab along. So I wanted it to default to the first tab, which is the main dashboard. So that's the thing that you see when you open it. We're going to email you later today if you've already sent your account ID in and gone through that acceptance process, then thank you. And for you guys, you will get an email in a few hours time with the link to your specific Google spreadsheet. So all of this is built in Google spreadsheets. It will update daily, but you don't need to worry about going to a different sheet every day, because obviously that wouldn't be particularly useful. We'd have to send you an email every day. So the URL of the sheet won't change. So you're welcome to bookmark that or turn it into a short code so it's easier to remember, because obviously it's a big long line of gobbledygook for now. Save it in your favorites, whatever you want to do. This is what it looks like when you land there. Let's quickly run through what the various things are on here and then a couple of the other tabs. So it's going to show you your cost yesterday and your spend so far this month, because many people run to a particular set budget during the month, so that'll help you figure that out. If you have any disapproved ads, then that's shown up there, and obviously that's going to be useful so that you can dig in and you know that you've got ads that you need to go fix. Broken links. Now at this point I've talked to a couple of friends that are really into scripts. There is a limit on scripts at the moment. They can only run for 30 minutes. So if your account has less than 1,000 ads, then we will run the broken links script on your account. If you have more than 1,000 ads in your account, then you'll see a message there saying, sorry, we can't run this particular script, so it's just one number on the dashboard that you won't get. The rest of the scripts will run, but if you've got more than 1,000 ads, can't check for broken links on your account. Apologies for that. Groups with significant ads. Now that's an area that we are working on to improve. For now, it's just the number of ad groups, and on a tab later I'll show you where to go to get the list of those ad groups. But it's for now, well, you can set the rule on the next screen, but it's going to be, maybe I'll talk about that on the next screen, a list of ad groups where you have 2 or more high traffic ads that you probably want to look at changing at least one of them. You know, it's time to change. You've probably got a split test winner or loser. It doesn't look at statistical significance yet. That is a more complicated script. We're working on that. For now, it's just a list of high traffic ad groups with 2 or more ads in. A lot of accounts that I see when I'm auditing aren't doing any split testing at all. And so that's what the next number there is, 55. That's groups that only have 1 ad running in them. And that list is on the same tab that I'm going to show you. And then also, if you have ad groups with 5 or more ads in, how many ad groups? And again, that's going to be listed on a tab that we'll get to in a sec. Where, again, a lot of accounts that I see might have 8 or 10 or even 15 active ads running per ad group. And unless you're doing huge amounts of traffic, that probably isn't going to be a good idea. So that's just alerting you to the fact that you may or may not, you might be doing that on purpose, but you probably don't need that many active ads running. And again, all of this runs on active campaigns, active ad groups, and active ads. Conversion problems. I'll explain that when I get to the conversion tab. Really happy with that because it's something that you just cannot do inside of Google. So it's showing you where there might be problems. And in this case, obviously, 1 of your 3 conversions looks like there might be a problem. 2 of them are okay. Similar sort of chart for impression drop, and I'll explain that when we get to that tab. Impression weighted quality score. So this is based on Jeff Mardica's script. I think I mentioned that the other day. So giving you a visual of how many keywords you have with each of the 10 quality scores. Next one's a little bit more confusing to read, I understand. Number of conversions, so breaking your keywords into different match types, broad, phrase, and exact. Sorry, can't split broad into mod broad. For a bunch of reasons. So blue is the number of conversions on that left-hand scale. So you can see there that broad keywords account for let's say around about 140 conversions. I think we'll add a label to this. The same way we've got the label on the number of conversions, which is the amber line, we'll add a label for the blue and the red as well, so that you can see the number of conversions. And then the red line is the CPA, also on the left-hand scale, because it's kind of hard to draw a bar chart with 3 scales. So the conversions and the CPA both use the left-hand scale, and we use converted clicks there to be more conservative. So if you use conversions in your account, apologies, we're using converted clicks for that. And then the number of keywords with each match type is shown with the amber line there on the right-hand scale. The scatter plot there is really just about identifying outliers. So the x-axis there is the number of conversions, or number of converted clicks rather. The y-axis is the CPA, and that's last 30-day data. So what you're particularly looking at there are dots in that top quarter of that scatter plot. Really expensive ad groups, and particularly if they're over in the top right, they're not only expensive, but I'm getting lots of expensive conversions. And so then you'll go digging. It's obviously not displaying the data on here, but it's a visual reminder to go digging and go do something about those really expensive ad groups. And then Savvy number, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, which is a measure of profitability, but you're going to need to enter in a break-even number. And it's going to show you the Savvy number over time and then plot that moving average, the red line, which is generally more useful and easier to see the trend than the blue line on its own. I'm aware of time, I'll try and move fast. Next tab, how to use the dashboard. So in order to calculate the Savvy number, so again, this is a measure of profit. So you need to chuck in a break even, whatever number you put in there. We've defaulted that to 100. You're welcome to change that to whatever you like. Feel free to play with that, experiment. You can't break anything. Come back the next day and you'll see that Savvy number line, or certainly the scale for that, will be different depending on the break even that you use. Again, we've done this because profit is not about minimizing your CPA. Let's take the example here where we've said break even was 100. Do you want one sale with a CPA of $20, or do you want two sales with a CPA of $25? Now, obviously, if your break even's 100, then you want two sales at 25. There's more profit in that. So for break even, what number do you put in that box? That's the number where things cease to be cheerful. That's the number where if your CPA was this, you're really not very happy and you're at the point where you're about to start losing money. So whatever that is for you, and at the moment that's an average across the entire account, because everybody labels their campaigns differently. So I wasn't able to split that up to be brand versus non-brand. We do that internally because we've got a set naming convention, but I want this to be flexible enough so that everybody can use it. So it's just an average across the whole account. The idea, again, behind that is that Savvy number, back on this screen here, gives you an at a glance look as to the health of the account. You want that red line to be at a minimum trending sideways, preferably trending up. If you see that red line sliding down, then you know that something is amiss. And you're either dropping in number of conversions or your CPA is getting too high, or a mix of the two. But just minimizing CPA is not the right answer. That's why we've invented Savvy number. So the next section there where you need to put a number in it, again, we've defaulted this to 30. This was for the groups with significant ads number, that 89 that you saw up in the top left-hand corner. So this is looking for, again, active campaigns, active ad groups with active ads. Must have at least 2 active ads that have 30 or more clicks each. Again, over time, we'll improve this so that we get a measure of statistical significance in here, and we'll let you enter in the level of statistical significance that you want, whether that's 80, 90, 95 or 99%. I also want to give you the option, excuse me, of being able to put that the measure for success in here is conversions rather than clicks. So we have that option on ours where we can say, find me ad groups where at least 2 ads have at least 3 conversions each, and now find me winners and losers amongst those. But to begin with, just for the simple version to roll this out on time, we're going to say at least 30 clicks. You can change that measure. You can lower or raise that number as you see fit. And then I've explained just a little bit there about explanation around the other tabs and the alerts on the how to use this tab. Hopefully that's useful for you. I think I've got a couple more screenshots just to show you here. The next tab along is the spark lines. So that's splitting out the 4 main channels: search without shopping, shopping if you're using it, display if you're using it without video, and then video, and just being so you can visually see. And obviously you can change the widths and heights of these if you want. You will have editing privileges on your dashboard. It's locked. I'm not sure how that works. I think you'll be able to change the widths and heights, but it enables you then to see at a glance roughly how things are trending. It's not meant to tell you everything. If you want to know individual numbers, you can click in a cell and you'll be able to see the numbers across the top, where you type in a formula in the spreadsheet. But it's really meant just to be at a glance. Oh, okay, CPA's trending down quite well, and this is, I think, 60-day data that's charted here. 2 more, I think, for you. This one I really love. This demo data maybe isn't the best one to show it off, but this is something that you just cannot do inside the Google interface, and that is to split up. If you've got, as we have here, 3 different conversion actions, there's no way in Google to chart those separately. Google sums all of those and then charts all of those over time. So the example that we talked about, well, similar to the example with the surfboards that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. If, ignore the numbers on your screen for a second. Well, okay, let's use them. Let's say inquiry here, but let's say inquiry wasn't my main conversion for this account. It obviously is. Inquiries are good, but let's just say inquiry there, the blue line, was PDF downloads, and I've got 1,700 PDF downloads over the last 90 days. Let's say that the green line up there, that was my most important macro conversion, and I've got 113 of those. Now, if I'm looking at the sum of my conversions across an entire account, or even just digging into one individual campaign, if my important conversion at the top there, if that were to get killed for some reason, because a developer has changed some code, someone's changed the URL of a thank you page and not told the person running the AdWords account, something has happened, you wouldn't notice it. So if the total conversions in your account drop from 100 a day to 95 a day, you're probably not going to notice. And it may take days or maybe even weeks before you notice that there's a problem with this particular thank you page or some code's been removed. And so that's what this enables you to do. So the alert on the front of the dashboard, this was the donut on the left that showed that one of these three had a problem, and it's the top one that it believes has a problem. It's not perfect because I'm not a statistician, but it's not perfect. What it's doing is saying, has there been longer than expected since I saw a conversion? So in this case, you can see the top one there, the last recorded, so it's going to give you that data. Last recorded ones of this particular conversion was on the 5th, 5 days ago. It looks like I usually get one of these most days, so it's longer than expected. Yes, let's send an alert for that. And unexpected 0 days. So what that's saying is, if you look at the blue line, there's generally conversions every single day there. If that blue line were to drop to 0, then it would alert. For the green line and the purple line, actually, that hits 0 quite a lot. And so the very fact that it's on 0 now, which the purple line is down the bottom there, it's on 0. It's not unexpected for that to go to 0. So the purple line is not firing an alert. The green line, based on the frequency of how often it hits 0, it is unusual for that to be 0 for 5 days in a row. And so that's why the flag's gone off. So you may get the odd false positive on here, but I figure that's better than not being alerted at all. So hopefully you'll enjoy using that. And just even ignoring the alert for a second, just being able to see the trends in your different conversion actions can be very useful. We used that yesterday to diagnose a particular problem on a new account, and I immediately came to the dashboard, found this tab, and it told me the answer straight away. Two more. This is the impression alert. So what this does is look at the impressions yesterday, campaign by campaign. Similar sort of thing as we had before. Let's say you have 20,000 impressions across your whole account. You've been fiddling with one or two campaigns. Maybe you were playing with some RLSA stuff that we talked about last week, and you've accidentally put target and bid on there instead of bid only. And impressions from that one campaign have dived. If your impressions drop from 20,000 a day to 19,000 a day, you probably won't notice. But if you break out impressions for the individual campaigns, then you can do more stuff with it. So what this is comparing is impressions for yesterday compared to the average for the same day. So today it's Wednesday here in Australia. So this would show me impressions for Tuesday compared to, the right-hand column, the average of the last 4 Tuesdays. So it doesn't take the average of the last 4 weeks, because obviously if there are differences day to day, that wouldn't be particularly useful. But comparing yesterday's Tuesday compared to what I expect to see for a Tuesday, and then a red alert is a huge drop, a drop of 80% or more. And this is all explained on the how to use this tab, by the way, if you're curious. But a red alert here is a drop of 80% or more. A yellow alert is a drop of 50 to 80%. And then it's white if there hasn't been a drop, or if there's been a gain. The grey ones there are if the historic average is less than 50, because what we found with this the first time we ran it was we were getting a load of false alerts. Maybe a campaign has dropped from 5 to 1. Well, that would be a red alert, but really 4 impressions does not make for an alert. So if it's historically less than 50 impressions per day, per campaign, then we just ignore those campaigns. If there's huge demand for that, then maybe we'll add that to the settings page where you set the clicks and the break even, and we'll give you a bit more control over that if people really want that. But for now, it's pretty good. It'll show you like this GDN campaign at the top here. There's been a huge drop in impressions there. It's something to go investigate. And then the last tab is the ad groups tab, which you'll find across the bottom there. That's where you can go find the list of all of those ad groups with the single ad, the 5+ ads, and the groups with the significant number of ads that might need to be changed.